Robert Wolf is with us right now to talk more about it. Robert, good to see you.
Great to see you, Maria. I wish I was with you.
Me too, but you're in a glorious place. I could see behind you, so you probably don't want to be with me right now. But let's talk taxes for a second, Robert.
That's true. Not today.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We just put on the screen, Robert, the 8 brackets of Hillary Clinton's plan. And you know, I gotta say, I'm gonna just pull out. I'm gonna pull out one of these here. So let's say it's 100. Let's say one of our viewers is making $190,000. Anything over $190,000, they're going to pay a 33% federal tax rate on that, Robert. Okay, when you add the 10% state tax, that takes you to 43%, and then another 7% because of Obamacare and the city tax. You're talking about a 50% tax rate on somebody making $190,000, Robert. How is that going to move the needle on economic growth? Please explain.
Yeah. Well, good question. I'm not sure what you're looking at or what you're referencing.
It's at the Tax Foundation. It's at the Tax Foundation. We're going through the 8 brackets that she has.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure who the Tax Foundation is, because there's other foundations that have Trump's plan adding somewhere around $2.5 trillion to the deficit, losing 3.5 million jobs. Her plan gains 10 million jobs. As far as those who are being taxed, the disproportionate, as you know, is following her view of the Buffett plan, which is a minimum 28% tax for those over $1 million of income. Over $1 million of income is like less than, you know, 0.5% in this country. With respect to those outside ahead of 250,000.
Yeah.
No, well, that's just for various expenditures and write-offs that they're going to be changing. But it really is the disproportionate is focusing on what was deemed great economics called trickle-down theory, which just didn't work. Her middle income increases in wages is right now night and days better than Donald Trump's. I mean, she has like 38 policies to look at. He has 6, of which one of them is let's build a wall. I mean, if we're talking depth and breadth, since it's a business show, we should go there. Okay, we've had an independent economist that said his loses 3.5 million jobs, hers gains 10 million. We've had the CBO, which is the independent budget, as well as Fix the Debt, says his adds a minimum $2.5 trillion to the deficit, hers adds $250 billion. The only positive on both is they both at least talk infrastructure. One has a real infrastructure plan. The other has no plan. He just talks about how bad our bridges and roads are.
Yeah, let's talk about the infrastructure.
We should have a real discussion of the policy.
All right, we have this graphic.
The infrastructure.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Robert,
I can't see you, so I'm sorry.
I know. We have this graphic from the taxfoundation.org, so I would just tell our viewers to go to taxfoundation.org to check out both candidates' plans. And I don't want to go through these brackets because you don't have it in front of you and it's not fair. But you know the infrastructure plans very well. So tell us, connect the dots for us and tell us how you believe these jobs in infrastructure will in fact materialize.
Great. Thank you for asking, Maria.
Of course.
Listen, when we think of infrastructure, unfortunately, everyone thinks about roads and bridges. It is a lot more than that. It includes social infrastructure, things like schools, okay, and hospitals, putting in Wi-Fi, things like next-generation GPS for our airlines, okay, putting fiber, laying it down in rural areas so they can get the right Wi-Fi and telecommunications capability. It's talking about next, on a national electric grid where we can use wind and solar and not only be looking at natural gas and oil. So there's a whole group of things that she includes on an infrastructure plan. Hers is about $275 billion. It focuses on public-private partnerships, and there would be a national infrastructure bank. We're the only developed country without a national infrastructure bank. So it is not about just more government and like building another Fannie and Freddie. This is mandated based on national infrastructure bank and public-private partnerships. The Trump plan is much different. It's I think $500 billion, if I'm not mistaken, and there's no policies, and he doesn't say anything where it's coming from or how it's doing. The secretary goes through where it's coming from, which is why her deficit is only $250 billion, and his deficit is north of $2.5 trillion. No disrespect to candidate Trump, but Okay, sorry
Robert,
about that. Go ahead, Harlan.
How is that possible? I mean, she's talking about giving, a universal college education, $120-something billion in infrastructure spending. How is it possible that she only adds $250 billion to the debt? The numbers just don't add up. One,
she's raising taxes.
Well, but does it cover it? And two,
well,
go ahead.
Yeah. You want me to speak, Harlan? I don't know. I can't hear you.
Yes.
Harlan, are you there? Okay, so one, it's not as if taxes pay for all of the spending. We should just be very clear with that. Okay, taxes pay for a part of it. Other thing is repatriation of profits, there'll be a tax. Okay, they'll look at advanced manufacturing as a way to boom this country, and they'll look at tax credits and tax loopholes. Listen, at the end of the day, if you said we want taxes to be at 25%, and you got every politician in a line to have an up and down vote on every pork, trust me, we could get taxes lower. But there's going to be some aspects where they're going to have to work with Congress to reduce these loopholes. But I didn't put these models in. This is the CBO and Fix the Debt. That's an independent budget group that put these models in. This isn't Robert Wolf talking. This is from real models. And I didn't run the models. Someone that runs models did it. And one says it's $250 billion, okay, of deficit increase, and one is $2.5 trillion. And we should know, before Trump's last speech, they thought it was $11 trillion. So these are numbers Maria and I have talked about.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
He changed. So now he's at $2.5 trillion.
And he raised the highest to 33%, and that's what brought him down to $2.5 trillion in cost versus an earlier, much steeper level.
Harlan, I want to make clear, this is not about where taxes is paying for this growth plan. Okay, this is going to have to be change of loopholes. This is going to have tax reform in it, which, by the way, everyone agrees we need.
Absolutely. Everyone does agree we need that. Robert, great to see you in such a beautiful spot.
Great. Thank you, Maria.
We'll see you back in New York, Robert.
Well,
thank you, sir. Robert Wolf.